Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. I'm really sorry I haven't uploaded anything for a couple of days, maybe a week now. I think I uploaded a daily energy read, which I really want to continue doing. But then I wouldn't say like a block, but I've had like a hard knock into reality. I think it's because we're in Capricorn season, and Capricorn is all about getting organized, guys, and I'm not the best at being organized, so I really went into this year with that energy, dedicated myself to be in the 3D and to get done what I needed to get done, so I haven't really been reading a lot for anybody personal at the moment, and not even for myself, because sometimes, I mean, with the cycles as well, and what sign we're in, if we work with our sign, that's when we get the best results, So I really just shut down the 5D. My intuition wasn't really working, and maybe that was for a reason as well. And I really organized my home, I organized the bedrooms, I really sorted everything out financially and materialistically, which sometimes I don't do because I love being in the 5D, and I love, channeling and things, but it's not always what we want, it's sometimes what we need, and I've been asking my guides because I've really struggled with this energy, if I'm honest. I do love getting things done. I wallpapered, I've moved all the bedrooms around, it's been amazing. I've even started back gym, and then I died for a couple of days, So yesterday and the day before, really, I had zero energy, and I didn't have any downloads or any intuition either. So I asked my guides for guidance. I've had a lot of double numbers come up them 2 days as well to just reassure me that everything was fine and I was still in alignment. And then today, everything switched back on, and I've had a bit of channeling this morning, which I've wrote down as I've been cleaning and got really organised. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put it out there because obviously it's come for a reason, and it's going to resonate with some of you, not all of you. Energy works different. If I don't resonate with you, then there is loads of readers online, guys. And I just watched an amazing channeler literally just before I jumped on right now, talking about letting go, and that was kind of what my channeling was. But the resilience to let go, obviously we just come into a new year, obviously again with the endings of cycles and the energy being so strong over the past 2 years since 2020, with the ascension and the veil being lifted. I feel like everybody had a really hard reality check last year and really was given I'm hearing like a crossroads, two options, a decision that needed to be made, to go with your higher self and trust yourself, or to stay stagnant or to stay stuck in the past, either way you chose for a reason. I just want to say, I don't want to be saying, the ones that chose their higher self and that are struggling right now are, on track. We're all on track, even if you didn't manage to build up enough courage, I guess, because it is something that takes a lot of courage to change our lives, isn't it? Even to leave a relationship, to trust ourselves enough to leave friendships, to build a new business. It all comes with courage. And unfortunately, a lot of us get stuck in the energy of fear, and talking about my channeling this morning, it had a lot to do with fears. Why was I feeling so stuck? Why was I feeling so like I want to do everything I want to do, but there's no motivation there, and everything just feels like a slog at the moment. I was speaking to somebody in my group the other day as well, who's just been like me, just been a hermit, just been organized, which is awesome, but she wants guidance because she knows that she needs to take the next step, and as I explained to her, at the moment we're in the winter, we're in hibernation, we're in the time where we need to go inside of ourselves to find the answers. I can put these messages out there, or you can go to any tarot reader or any channeler out there where you will get information. Obviously, if you resonate to connect to it and you need that message, then you will get it. But ultimately, it's always about going inside, and listening to ourselves. And that's exactly what I done. even though I didn't like it. I went inside, sorted myself out, and boom, my energy have come back today, and I channeled a bit for us. So yeah, the first word that came to my head was resilience, guys. Our resilience is being tested right now, okay? Anything that comes up in our lives, any hard cycle, anything, you know, for example, all of a sudden your life just completely changes, you know, your relationship goes sour, which you've been in for 5 years, you've got children, and all of a sudden you've got to be a single mum, or the job you've been in for 5 years, you all of a sudden can't stand it and you want to take the next step into a passion that you want to do, you know, but then we get stuck in everyday life, I guess, and having to do everything in the 3D, but also want to follow our passions and our goals, you know, and our resilience to all these tests, to all these things that are coming up into our lives that are there to block us ultimately from becoming our true selves. They test on our resilience, on how not to give up. How resilient are you? We are being tested right now, okay? And it is basically, I'm just hearing do or die. It's not that we literally die, but only one life we got, being as ourselves. And that is where my next channeling come in, is how open are you to new experiences, liberated. And I also pulled one. I wrote these cards, they're just like little flash cards, for myself, for my own healing, about 4 years ago. And every day I would pull one and I would do the task on the thing. It's a really fun activity and it really pushes you out of your fears. So the one that I pulled for us collectively today was, who did you open up to today? And the channeling that I got was, how open are you to new experiences and liberated? Okay, so I feel like because we've been through maybe betrayals, maybe people turning our backs, maybe all of a sudden being talked about, or going on our own, has made us closed off. I'm seeing the Four of Pentacles here, you know, and which is good, you know, closed off, being a hermit, re-evaluating our security, our stability is always a good thing. But I feel like this is something that we may be struggling with right now collectively, is opening back up. You know, again, I had another conversation with a girl I haven't seen for ages a couple of days ago in town, and she was explaining how she got anxiety from the lockdown. You know, this is all related to us opening up and becoming our true selves. When we were in lockdown, we were made to sit there with our shadows. We were made to sit there and work on ourselves, I guess, and look at things that we didn't really want to look at. So when we come back into society, we are literally changed people, you know, and I think that's where our anxiety of opening back up to people is coming in, to be our true authentic selves, because maybe we've been rejected by people that we've been around for years, you know, and that's okay. I just want to say that as well. You know, a lot of people stay in their group of friends or their relationships or their families all their life, which is beautiful, and I see it around me all the time. And there's been times in my life where I wished I wanted to fit in, you know, and I've stayed in relationships to just fit in to that circle, but I was never happy because I was never being my true authentic self. You know, I lived off fears. I never showed who I really was. I was shy. I never expressed myself, you know, so and since I've broke away from that, you know, which was painful and which was hard and which is sometimes lonely even to now, I've become my true authentic self. So, you know, it liberates you to open up to new experiences and to new people. So perhaps that's a spirit off message. Oh my gosh, we are going through Mercury retrograde. I think it's either today or tomorrow. And we've got a full moon, which I will talk about in Cancer on the 27th. And I can feel it already, guys. So yeah, this is what's going to liberate us and break us out of the hermit mode, I guess, you know, which is beautiful to be a hermit. I love being on my own, you know, but if we want to set goals and we want to do more things and being as human beings, you know, we want love, we want companionship, but we want the right love and the right companionship. Okay, I just heard that quite loud and clear. So if you think of the cycle that you've just been through and all the pain and all the lessons and all the betrayals and all the like right time left as a clean slate, you know, that part of your life is over now. Okay, you haven't got to explain that to anybody. It's a cycle. And then I also got destiny. So then I asked, what was this message about? And it said, infinite soul that never dies. So if we look at our life as a soul instead of just Sarah, which I am, or Betty, or Anne, or whatever, you know, and we see ourselves as a soul living an experience on this earth, then we see the cycles that we've just been through and the pain that went along with it. I'm feeling quite shaky now, so this is still channeled message, I think, as soul development, as soul growth, okay, then our perception of the whole situation that we've just been through changes, and it allows us to open up to life again. Okay, it allows us to trust ourselves again, okay, not just other people, but we don't trust ourselves. And forgiveness was a message that I got from the Bible today, which I will go into once I've done the channeled message. But yeah, if you look at your soul as, because the scariest thing, when I got this channeling, I also got the scariest thing that all of us are the most scared about is dying. You know, even if we know there's another, you know, our soul never dies, it's the fear of losing our loved ones. It's the fear of not being around the people that we love, you know, and not being us, you know, and also going over and not knowing what's on the other side. You know, that can be scary too. But if we know that the soul is infinite, and this is what Spirit was saying to me this morning, you know, the soul never dies. This is just an experience. These are just cycles that our soul has come to this earth for, has chosen, you know, we chose this path. Then we can live without fears, then we can live without shame, then we can live without doubt, and fear and guilt and all the rest of it that sometimes goes along with our mistakes. You know, we beat ourselves up a lot for the things that we do, when really we had to go through it for our souls to learn, you know. So if we look at it like that, then we can forgive ourselves, and we can also forgive the other person, okay? Maybe I meant to go into this message now, but yeah, forgiveness. And that was also on the channeling that I just watched before I put this video on, was letting go of what happened. You know, a lot of us are sitting around waiting for justice, waiting for karma, she was saying, waiting for things to happen to us instead of us making it happen for us. And the reason that we are not making it happen for us is because we're not letting it go. We're not understanding that it was a lesson. We're not understanding that we're all on different consciousnesses, and we all live through our experiences and through our lessons. And who knows, the people that done that to you will ultimately learn a lesson too, okay? The universe sees absolutely everything. There is a law of karma, you know, there is a law of justice, there is a law of you do good, good comes back to you, you do bad, bad comes back to you. We all have gone through karma, myself included, you know, but it's about accepting our own karma and accepting and seeing ourselves as well, and seeing our own shadows and seeing what we do to contribute towards that karma. That's something that I have been, not in this channeling, but since Christmas really, contributing to what my life wasn't going so right, because there was things that I was perhaps lying to myself about, you know, and that's what we do, don't we? Because our ego comes in. And that was another bit of the channeling as well. Our ego comes in to make us believe that it's always somebody else's fault. But it's nobody's fault. I just want to say that first of all. That's a wrong word to say. There is nobody's fault. There's always lessons on both sides, okay? And if you look at it like that, when you encounter somebody that does trigger you, or does put a mirror in front of you and does reflect back to you something that you don't really like about yourself, then just know that that person is a gift. Okay, not everybody gets to be enlightened, not everybody gets to see that side of them so they can heal. Some people are just who they are, and that's who they're always going to be, because that's what their contract was for this world. But if you were lucky enough to be able to have awoken and had a mirror shown at you to see the things that you were doing wrong so you can change them, then you are a very blessed and a very guided person. Okay, so take it as a blessing. A lesson is always a blessing, okay? And then it's in the darkness that you see the light, and then you become enlightened, okay? So maybe you think, oh my God, I've had 10 years of pain, or I've had 5 years now in this relationship and it hasn't worked, what a waste of time. And then you go down that rabbit hole, don't you, of blaming yourself, of hating yourself, of I'm too old and this and that. But if you start to see that if you didn't go through that darkness in the first place, you know, if you didn't have to walk through the shadow, the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, okay? So we are put down these dark alleys, we are put down these dark roads for us to become enlightened, okay? Because if we never, so, say for example, went through a relationship that was controlling, and we wanted to be liberated and we wanted to be our own bosses, then we would never have known that about ourselves. Okay, we would just settled, or that relationship would have just worked and we would have settled, and we never would have lived out our true purpose. Okay, so we have to go into the darkness to become enlightened of who we truly are, you know. And when I had that channel, and it was like, wow, you know, I've heard that quote so many times. It's in the darkness that you see the light. But then it went on to say you become enlightened, you know, that is when the light inside of you switches on. Not the light that you want to follow of other people's opinions of, oh, this person's doing this spiritual, I'm going to do that, this person's doing this. No, it's when your own light comes on into your own soul and you see yourself for the first time, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and you learn to accept it. And have fun with it, you know, play with it and look at it as like a game, you know, you're working yourself out. You are your own universe. And that's another thing that I got a couple of days ago, doing something that I was watching, a channel that I was watching as well, about birth charts. You know, if you study your birth chart, you have nearly every, I would say most birth charts have nearly every single planet in their own birth chart. So you are a universe, a complete universe in yourself. And when people say that, you know, you are a universe, you are the universe, literally you are the universe, you are the creator of your own universe by the planets, by the houses, by everything that is already predestined. Okay, so you get to design that if you know your birth chart and you know how to work yourself and you know your moon sign, your star sign, your rising sign. You know, knowledge is power, guys. And like getting tapped into who you truly are, then you know your own universe and you know how to work it, you know. And then you understand that these lessons are all blessings in disguise, okay? So then it went on to remember what triggered you into awakening you, into wanting to change in the first place. So yeah, if you're at a place where you've been, like for example me, you know, I awoke 6 years ago now and I've been on a mission ever since. But since 2020, I had one of my hardest challenges up to date, you know, up to that point. And I lost 2 people that I absolutely loved. Plus we had lockdown, plus I went through like a really crazy soul connection, which brought all my shadow up. I went through all the shadow work, guys. And I lost a part of me that was motivated, you know, that wanted to go to the gym, that wanted to look after myself, because I was so in the past, you know, I was so in the, like, what's happened to me. I was so in everything that's gone wrong the past 10 years, you know, I wasn't being resilient. I was giving up, you know, and this is where the test is. Okay, so Spirit was saying, remember what triggered you into awakening and wanting to change in the first place. Now, my wanting to change all them years ago was I was a mum and I loved my babies and I had a partner, and before that partner I had another partner, and I could have stayed in both of them relationships and I could have just been a mum and sat at home and took everything that I'd went through. You know, I'm not going to go into it in this channeling, but I wanted more for my life, you know, so I made that decision to go it alone and be a single mum for the first time and learn everything from scratch at the age of 30 and trust myself, you know. And it's been a hard task, but the reason that I've done it in the first place is because I wanted the freedom to be who I am, you know. And I wasn't having that freedom in either of them relationships. I was being told who I was, you know, and they've both relationships have come with children, and that's brought resilience to my journey as well, you know. But I've never given up because I've wanted to be my true self. So Spirit was saying, if you've gone through an awakening lately, maybe since 2020 or maybe this year, or maybe like me, a good couple of years you've been struggling now, not struggling but keeping on going, and you're like, oh, you know, when am I going to be here? You know, when is it going to bloom? When is that flower going to bloom? Spirit is saying, When you feel like giving up, when you feel like you haven't got no resilience left, just remember why you started, why you awoke, what triggered you into awakening. Was it a relationship that you wasn't happy in? Was it a career that you wasn't happy in? Was it a family that was always putting you down? There's something in there, and you've got to remember that, okay? It's dedicated effort, I'm hearing, dedicated effort to remember why you wanted a change in the first place. And then I had cycles closing. So obviously with any cycle that's closing, it's going to be hard. There's going to be resistance because our ego, and then, I went on to ego then, because our ego wants us to stay in our comfort zone, wants us to stay where we know is most comfortable. And it scares us to jump outside that comfort zone and to be somebody that you've never been. And this is why people don't fulfill their missions of being their true authentic selves, because of out of fears. Okay, so this cycle is closing and you might get fears. I'm hearing ground yourself, keep yourself grounded, keep yourself focused on the reason why you're doing this in the first place. Okay, every road leads us that bit closer to ourselves, especially the bad ones, because they are the most important lessons. Okay, so like I go back to saying I've messed up, or I've spent 5 years in this relationship, or I've spent 2 years in this career and haven't worked out. If you look at it as you had to go down that road, you had to, because if you hadn't gone down that road, you wouldn't have maybe learned the lesson of self-worth that Spirit wanted you to learn, that people have been taking you for granted for years and years, and you had to go through this hard, painful lesson, but look at who you are coming out of it. You've learned so much. You know your worth, you know your value. That's something that can't, life experience is something that can't be bought. Okay, you can read books, you can go to university, you can copy other people, but until you go through it yourself, then you'll never really know what that entails, because you've got emotions and you've got feelings and you've got everything tied into that experience, so it makes it that much more real for you. Okay, so every road leads us back to our true authentic selves. Okay, so you were meant to go through that pain, you were meant to go through that betrayal, because you needed to learn self-worth, you needed to learn self-value, you needed to learn self-love, you needed to learn independence. Maybe perhaps you had codependency issues, I don't know, every one of us is different, but this is where the healing comes in, and which is what I always talk about. Just seen 2233. Namaste Spirit. The healing comes in because that more that we heal, that more that we educate ourselves on why we are how we are, why we went through that lesson, and pick it apart, then that is where the ego drops and we accept who we truly are. Okay, we accept we're human and we make mistakes and we have flaws, and we be our true authentic selves. Then I went on to unprogramming, is where we are stuck and stay stagnant, and why we do this so hard, find this so hard because of fear and ego. Again, that's what I just said basically. Our fear keeps us stuck. Okay, or our ego is to not accepting that, I messed up, I done something wrong, I went down the wrong road. Okay, it's easy to blame other people, it's not so easy to turn that mirror around and blame ourselves. But whatever situation we were in, we put ourselves in, maybe it's fears, maybe it's childhood wounds, but we are responsible for healing them parts of ourselves, not other people, ourselves. Okay, so we come from a platonic and knowing our emotions and being in touch with our true authentic selves. Fear of making a mistake is like wanting an A in an exam without taking the exam or doing any work for it. Yes, okay, it's like we stay stuck in fear. Okay, but we want it all. We want the perfect relationship, we want the perfect job, we want everything perfect, we want us to be fixed, but yet we don't want to do the work. At the end of the day, this is why we get given these lessons, and this is why we get given, I say, blessings, because then we can go to work on it. We can go to work on ourselves, The pain is the work. Resilience, yes, the pain is the work. When you work through that pain and work through understanding every single part of who you are and why you've gone through what you've gone through, then you come out of that pain and you can look at it without emotion, without pain, and look at it and be like, yeah, that was my lesson, that was my blessing, okay? So it's about not giving up, it's about being resilient and knowing that this is all tests, okay? So the part in the Bible was believe in yourself to manifest. So it was something about, let's have a look, the withered fig tree. So basically Jesus cursed a fig tree, okay, and the very next day the rabbi and Jesus went past the fig tree and it was rotting from the roots, and Jesus went on to say, yeah, well, if you believe and you ask that mountain to move, it will move, okay? But you have to believe with all your heart, okay? There's got to be no doubt. Whether people doubt you, whether people segregate you, whether people disown you, whether people betray you, you have to believe in who you are with all of your heart and have faith in who you are. And I just seen 25:44 then. And allow Spirit and allow your guides to come in and give you that faith, and just know that you're coming from an open heart, then you can manifest anything that you want, basically, okay? We manifest all the time, whether it be from fears, doubts, wrong programming, which I have done. I've actually manifested the two first ones, and I did ask for the third one, but the two first ones, and they were total, stupidity, because I was an unawakened feminine. I was a wounded feminine. I didn't know what I wanted, and I had to go through them experiences to find out what I wanted, and now I do. So yeah, that was all the channeling, guys, and I guess it looks like most of the video, because I can't record past 30 minutes, but I hope you take something from that, and don't give up, okay? Spirit is saying don't give up. We need to learn to forgive the past, let it go, know that it was all a lesson, which is ultimately a blessing of God, a blessing that we've been woke up to these truths. And we get to change that. We get to change our reality, okay? Then I just pulled one card for the collective. I'm not going to pull any more because I haven't got time now, just for our energy right now. And it's in the King of Pentacles. I've just been reminded of something that I did channel, 1 second, about the sun and masculine energy. I didn't say this. Oh yeah, right. It was a song that I've had channeled to me about a week ago now. The song is The Rose by Bette Midler. It's totally not my music. I love Bette Midler from all the old 80s movies. I absolutely love her. Ghost is one of my favourite. But the song is called The Rose, so look it up. There may be a message in that song. If you've seen 27:44 then, wow. But it goes on about the sun's love in the spring helps the seed become the rose. So the song is about feeling beaten down, through the winter time. Everything's cold, everything's stagnant. It's been a long time on your own, so you're going to have these doubts and these fears. But what Spirit is saying in this song is the seed is underneath all that snow all this whole time, okay? And with the sun's love, right? With the sun's love in the springtime, it becomes the rose. It blooms, okay? So then I went on to channel energy is action, is doing, okay? So the sun is the masculine energy, okay? The moon is the feminine, which is our emotions, our intuition, our nurture inside, which I will do another video probably tomorrow now on the full moon, because we're in Cancer and I want to talk about that. But yeah, the sun is the masculine energy, so I feel like this channeling was about taking action, okay? Doing, nurturing, making ourselves happy, okay? Because again, the sun card is the happiest card in the tarot, okay? So it's making ourselves happy, then we bloom, then we can bloom again, okay? So I feel like this song, look it up, is beautiful. There is one on there with lyrics as well, so you can read the lyrics. But it's about what love is, basically. What's love? And love is what we nurture ourselves with. Ultimately, this is what this song talks about. So yeah, that was just the last bit of the channeling that I had. Sorry guys, I just had to mention that. It just popped into my head. But yeah, we're in the King of Pentacles energy now, whether you be feminine or masculine, but I'm feeling this is our masculine side really working on being the boss, okay? Working on our security, working on our finances, working on our homes, maybe our commitments, okay? Really bossing up and becoming in our masculine energies, because even feminines, we've got feminine and masculine energies inside of ourselves. But I really feel with this card, we are really looking at our pentacles, looking at ways of making more money, being financially secure, maybe a new job opportunities, but really getting organized. This is Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, grounding energy. I'm sure this will change as we go into Cancer, where we'd be more emotional. But for now, we're staying in this masculine energy for a couple of more days. So that's nice to see. And I did see, I don't know if it's still there, if I shuffled, no, the Six of Wands on the bottom. So yeah, we're looking for recognition, we're looking for victory, and I feel like we're gonna get it, okay, in the financial sectors, in our security. So that is where our concentration is on now. But like I said, if you're tired, if you're drained like I was yesterday, accept that that is your destiny, okay? Don't resist anything that comes into reality. If you want to nap, nap. If you want to write, write. When, you know, do what you want to do when you feel like you want to do it, okay? If you work with the energies instead of resisting or going over, you know, if you're knackered and you've got things to do and you keep going, then you're going to burn yourself out, okay? Then you're going to be misaligned. So I'm going to go now. I hope you all have the best day and week. Namaste.